Celebrate the holidays with your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for less than $10 a day using coupon code HOHOHO when checking out with a 7-day all-access pass. This gives you immediate access to all of your capper selections, including any $40 5% best bets. There is no limit to the amount of handicappers at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. You can lock in for 7 days, but coupon code HOHOHO will expire at midnight on New Year's Day.
Teddy, I am rough. I'm not live. I'm rough. I'm Lawrence Presman. Teddy Covers with us. You're watching WagerTalk Today, and I called you last night. I was in a festive mood. You can talk now, Teddy.
Oh, is that your passing over to me?
Yeah.
Good morning, Lawrence. How are you today, my friend? And good morning, listeners and viewers. We want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. Loaded show for today. You want to do the intro, Prez?
You go. Keep going,
that's
baby.
normally that's normally the way the show would start. It's like you introduce the host, then you tell us what's coming up. But instead, you talked about some phone call you made when you were wasted last night, which I hope you learned the lesson. Don't call me when you're wasted, dude, because I will give you crap infinitely. And I do.
Yeah, you fully killed my buzz, man. That is for sure. Teddy Covers the Prez. Who do we have on today? We'll figure that out as the show goes on, but I know for sure Andy Lang is joining us, and he's going to talk some NFL props. We might even have a Joe Ranieri sighting later on in the show. Stay tuned for that, everybody. But Teddy, let's get into Christmas NBA, man. 5 games tomorrow. I'm going to throw them at you. You're going to give me your thoughts and opinions. New Orleans, sure. Miami. New Orleans, nice win yesterday. They look good. Obviously not a contender, but a nice start to the season. Plus 4.5, total of 225. 30 seconds each team. Let's go.
Bet on versus bet on for this game. All right. New Orleans showed a lot of really good things last night. And one thing that I'm looking for, again, I sat down and watched 6 hours of NBA last night. I'll do it again on Saturday. I'll do it again on Christmas Day. There's a lot to learn that you're picking up from the local announcers and the like. But New Orleans team chemistry is off the charts. That team likes each other, and they look really good. Though some of what happened last night was hot shooting. Third quarter, they hit 7 of 8 from 3, and Toronto goes 0 of 10 from 3. And that's not going to happen game in, game out. But there was enough from New Orleans last night to the inside-outside balance that I really liked. Miami off a loss was money in the bank last year. I mean, money. And it's not like the Heat played a crap game last night, but they certainly didn't bring their A game. Orlando was hitting shots from the get-go. And now we have Miami returning home off a loss. I'm not stepping in front of that. It's not a game I'm going to play.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you, and you're right. That third quarter, I got away from the Raptors real quick. Milwaukee minus 10 against Golden State, and this Golden State, the pace of their game last 2 games in their first game of the season, it was exceptional. Up and down the court all game, just really were cold from the floor. 232 is the total here, and well, I'm going to tell you flat out, I like the over here, Teddy. I like getting these fast-paced teams coming off of a poor shooting percentage, and well, Milwaukee could score with the best of them. What do you like quickly?
Well, so I'm not going to break this game down too much right here because we're going to do it in big game breakdown a little bit later in the show. I certainly wouldn't argue, and that I'm going to talk about the side there. When it comes to the total, I certainly wouldn't talk anyone out of an over in this ball game. The Bucks are going to run. The Warriors are going to run. We can expect a fast pace as long as a reasonable number of threes drop and or a reasonable number of free throws get called. The game should be in line to cash over bets.
Yeah, and Brooklyn, man, they were cold too from the floor against Golden State. They're going into Boston here, minus 3, another big total of 228. I got no real opinion here, but it's going to be fun to watch this Brooklyn team chemistry-wise start materializing in front of us. They're going to be a really good team all year, and maybe a play-on team. What do you like?
Sure. From a power rating standpoint, I felt like my number on Brooklyn was too low after watching them on opening night because of the depth that they have. And that's a huge issue against Boston, who last year, Celtics bench was a bet on unit. I'm not convinced that's going to be the case this year. We certainly saw signs of that last night with the fourth quarter meltdown against Milwaukee. And of course, they got the lucky banked in three and the Giannis missed free throw, end up winning the game in regulation. I don't know it's going to be that easy for the Celtics. It wasn't easy last night, but I certainly have some early season issues with Boston. It's not a team I'm looking to put my money on. And Brooklyn, I mean, look, sky's the limit for that squad. When you think about the concept of Karis LeVert coming off the bench, from a depth standpoint, Brooklyn is loaded. They're a scary looking team. And from a power rating standpoint, I've got Brooklyn right now power rated with the Clippers and the Lakers at the very top of the NBA. They're not a team I'm going to step in front of the first week of the season.
He's Teddy Covers. I'm the Prez. You're watching Wager Talk today. No show tomorrow, Teddy. So we're going to wish everybody happy holidays throughout this show. Excited to have this last hurrah with you, bro. I'm a mess. Dallas, the Lakers. Lakers -6, Dallas 228. Lakers wrong side bet last game. I would sit there and say coming off a loss, they're going to be good, but I'm hesitant to bet the Lakers right now, Teddy. This has to be a tired team. I feel like they're a stay away from team, at least for the first few weeks of the season. See how they start rolling. What are your thoughts?
So I use this game as a service play for Christmas Day, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I'll tell you who I'm going to play. You want the analysis. You got to buy the play, but I'm going to look at the Lakers in this spot. You talked about LA coming off a loss, which is money in the bank. But to me, this is more about Dallas than anything. All right. We bet against Dallas yesterday. Talked about how I like Phoenix, man. Phoenix was awful last night. They turned the ball over. I should say they were awful. They were good enough to win, and they made the plays down the stretch to win. But they weren't in midseason form. I'll just put it that way. And the Mavs still weren't good enough to beat them. I think Dallas is something of an overvalued commodity right now. Luka's gotten a lot of hype, and Luka's an incredible player. The supporting cast around him is not what it was a year ago. And without KP, I don't know who the heck they're going to have to shut down Anthony Davis. I think Davis goes nuts in this game. I like the Lakers, and I have money on the Lakers. My money on the Lakers. So that's one that's already in my pocket.
So not my money. Yours.
I have not put your money in my pocket. No.
Okay, and that's a good thing. The Clippers against the Nuggets. 224 -2.5. I like the over in this game. I think Denver's going to play to the over all year, Teddy. And I know the Clippers have good defense, but this number is slightly low in this day and age. That's what I'm looking at. What do you like?
Yeah, see, the Clips are going to be hard to play totals, for me at least, because their defense was there on opening night. Okay. That is a good defensive ball club, good on the perimeter, good in the low post. And when you have a team that plays fast like the Clips and plays defense like the Clips, it's hard to play for me to get involved total-wise because defensively they're there. But pace-wise, they're on the other side. I don't know. The Nuggets had a bunch of defensive breakdowns last night. They did not. If you watch, it was a thrilling game, a really exciting game. But Denver made a bunch of mistakes down the stretch, and they kind of gave it away. The Nuggets, another team that's been really good off of a loss, but I don't know that I want to step in front of the Clippers. We'll see. That's one I'm not going to play.
I mean, I'll tell you, on that thought about playing the totals with the Clippers, lights out defense, but inconsistent defense. It always is, in the sense that we're at the beginning of the season. They're not going to play crazy D the whole way through. But more importantly, this is a team that's going to shoot lights out and then go cold, and shoot lights out and then go cold. You want drama? Play Clipper totals. He's Teddy Covers. I'm the Prez. Let's welcome some guys in to the chat room. Big Wave Dave, love your name. Haven't seen you before. Hope you're well, my friend. Kirk Gray, Big Daddy Robert Kahn, Daniel, Gerald Jones, Brandon Shin, a lot of names we haven't heard before. And Teddy, that's just so awesome. Obviously, not as many people as normal in the chat room today. I mean, it's a traveling day. Everybody's getting ready. Christmas Eve tonight. Exciting times, man. Mostly because 2020 can, and
Yeah, no doubt.
we're getting much closer to that happening, Teddy.
Sure, but
Can't
that's
wait for
next
this
week.
year
You're
to
like,
end,
oh
man.
yeah, you're like, oh, this is the last show before. No, it's not. We'll be back on Monday.
No,
We'll be off
yeah.
New Year's Day. We'll be back in the following Monday. But you want to talk about Christmas wishes, Prez? This show started. I think the first show. What did we have? We had maybe 500 people watch. Now we're up to 5,000. My Christmas
Yeah.
wish
Oh,
next year
some
at
of
this
our
time.
shows are getting 9,000 views, bro.
Sure. So if you ask for my Christmas wish is that next year at this time we're getting 50,000 because I think the show is good enough. I think we're entertaining enough. I think we give enough good information. And the only thing I can wish for any of you is if you like the show, tell a friend, tell 2 friends, tell 5 friends, because this show, I think it's, you don't want to toot your own horn, but I think it's pretty good. And 50,000 daily viewers that's the goal right now. Next year at
wouldn't
this
that
time.
be wonderful? Yeah, we're bringing Andy Lang in. Andy Lang. Geez. You stole Jeff Saturday's face again? Did he beat you up?
No.
Let me guess. You know Jeff Saturday, and he's a really nice person.
He's an amazing guy. Love that guy. Handsome guy, too.
Yeah, well, it really is uncanny how Welcome to Wager Talk Today. I'm the Prez. We got Munch, Jeff Saturday. Great show. Wager Talk Today, everybody. Andy, man, tell us. Look, firstly, I just want to say to you, and Teddy, I got to tell you, Andy is the driving force behind the whole prop concept coming out of Wager Talk Today. Andy, founder of Prop It Up. Andy, really quick, is that a show that's going to be on more regularly than once a week as we move into the basketball season?
I know myself and Andrew McGinnis would like to. Wager Talk's going through a bunch of updates and changes with daily shows, a lot of exciting stuff, and we're just holding tight with Prop It Up. But the concept is there, the audience is there, and the material is there. So Wager Talk is not run by dummies; they are run by very, very smart people. So I'm going to guess that we're going to see a lot more Prop It Up as we move forward with the props. So.
Yeah, dude, but congratulations on all your success at Wager Talk. Been with us for a year, 60% in his head-to-head bets, and really the driving force behind props. And Andy, I mean, you and I spoke about this. In-game betting and prop betting is the way of the future, and especially with the knowledge that has come that the foundation of fantasy sports has had. It's really where everything's going betting-wise. So, kudos to you, man, for really stepping up and driving the whole prop program.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I keep telling people with props, when you go into a basketball game, you can see the spread, you can see the total, and then you have 50 to 75 props to pick from. So you can pick and choose like literally anything you want. If you like a player, you can take a player. If you like a quarter, you can take a quarter. So the props just give the consumer so much more value and so many more options. It's hard work to do all the research, but if all you got to do is find those little niches, those little advantages in the props when they give you some soft lines, and you could do some real damage. So
all that went through my mind was I wish I only took a quarter last night. Andy Lang with us. Let's get to it. Alvin Kamara, a rushing yard prop. What do you got for us?
Yeah, Kamara's been money this year when Drew Brees has been playing, but normally we take rushing and receiving because he does so good in the passing game. I'm going to stick on a rare occasion to Alvin Kamara rushing against the Vikings. They've just really fallen off. They've given up over 100 yards rushing the last 5 games, gave up 32 carries for 146 yards to David Montgomery. Now they're on a short week, so that defense is probably not fully recovered. And we all watched the Saints when Drew Brees really struggled to throw the ball. His stats did not indicate what the eye test gave. And now he's on a short week. So it's hard to believe his arm is going to get better in 5 days, that he's going to be throwing it all over the field, especially without Michael Thomas. And especially if they get ahead early. The last 2 games for the Vikings, which they've lost, they've been behind at halftime. So if they're behind at halftime, I look for Kamara and Murray to get a lot of extra runs. I see this number at 60.5. That feels really low to me. And as a bonus, I would take the Saints the first half. The Vikings were behind by 10 points at half against the Bears, 11 points against the Buccaneers. That line is -4 right now. So if you believe that the Saints are going to be ahead in the first half, this Alvin Kamara bet matches up really nicely. So I would sprinkle a little bit on Saints first half and Kamara over 60.5 rushing yards.
Andy, are you worried at all about the issues that Breeze showed last week? You said the eye test didn't quite match the statistical profile. And if Breeze isn't throwing downfield, that's going to allow Minnesota to stack the box, and it's going to mean Kamara's not going to get the big gainers that may well be key to him cashing this over bet. Is that something you're worried about, or do you think that's priced into the number?
I think it's priced in the number, and I go back to the Vikings. I mean, the Bears, they don't have downfield threats. I mean, it's Mitch Trubisky. I think their leading receiver had 84 yards last week, so they didn't stretch the field. They knew what was coming, and yet David Montgomery still got 32 carries for 146. So, it's one thing to know what the other team is getting ready to do. It's another to be able to stop it. So the Saints have been good at running the ball. I would expect more of the same this week.
Andy Lang, everybody. You find him at WagerTalk.com. Golf expert, NASCAR expert, NFL expert, prop expert. Are you going to be doing hockey at all?
I leave that to the hockey pros. I leave that to you and Andrew. I know Koken does hockey, but I will say this: I put my money where my mouth is. I buy several packages, and I will be buying a hockey package this year because I know WagerTalk has some of the best hockey bettors in the industry.
Yeah, we'll give it to you for free. Giants. You got a prop on the Giants game that I love. This is a bet that I made. So tell us about it.
All right. So we all know about Teddy knows about the epic Jets run of 7 straight first quarters in a row they've scored in. We don't need to go over that. I'll go over a team I think you can play under the first half total. The Ravens are only allowing an average of 8 points in the first half the last 3 games, and they're playing the Giants, who have just fallen apart. Dead last the last 3 games. They're averaging 1 point in the first half the last 3 games. Last week, they kicked 1 field goal in the first half against the Browns. Those are the only points in the first half for them the last 3 weeks. But there is a caveat. You have to keep your eye on something. All 3 of those games were started by Colt McCoy. In the previous games to that where Daniel Jones started, the Giants scored 10, 14, and 20 points in the first half. Keep an eye on the injury report. It's very, very important. You should keep an eye on the injury report every week. But in this particular play, if Colt McCoy is going to get the start, let's take the Giants under their team total in the first half. If Jones is starting, it's probably just a layoff. But I'd look for that Giants offense to keep struggling early.
Yeah, I mean, this is one I'm certainly not going to try to talk you out of, Andy. The Giants offense has been fairly inept. But you say this is a play only if McCoy's at QB. I'm going to ask you, if Jones plays, is he going to be anywhere near 100%, or is it going to look like he did the last time they trotted him out there and he couldn't do anything, and it made no difference whether McCoy or Jones was at QB? Is Jones good enough to say, all right, only bet this if McCoy is starting at QB, or is one of these deals, yeah, maybe you take it both ways, either way?
Well, so if McCoy's playing, it's a definite play. If Jones is playing, there's only one guy that knows how he's going to feel, and that's Daniel Jones. So I'm not going to try and guess how he plays. And this is another thing in the prop world. If you're at all hesitant about a prop, if you're at all worried about it, or if you just can't get there, there's a million props out there. There's no reason to force a bet on a prop. So if Daniel Jones is playing, it's just a layoff. Just stay away, go look, find something else. There's NBA, there's NFL. There's no reason to force it. But if Colt McCoy gets the start, this is a definite play for me.
Andy Lang, Detroit Lions, man. And I tell you, this play makes so much sense too. I'll give it out +3 in the first quarter. I mean, we've seen Tampa Bay week in, week out. They just can't get out of their own way in that first quarter. Fill us in, brother.
So sometimes you just have to hold your nose and make a bet. And it's so hard to recommend the Detroit Lions, but the numbers just don't lie. They're +3 in the first quarter against the Bucks. So in the last 3 games in the first quarter, the Lions have scored 7 points against the Titans, 7 points against the Packers, and 6 points against the Bears. The last 4 games, the Buccaneers have scored 0 points in the first quarter in all those games. And 5 out of 6, they've scored 0 points in the first quarter. I don't know what is going on with the Buccaneers and not being able to score in the first quarter. They just get off to this ridiculously slow start. So it's so hard to bet on the Lions, but you're getting a field goal. So if all they need to do is get a touchdown, and your bet is looking absolutely fantastic. We do have some of the coaching issues with the Lions. I actually think that could be, follow me on this one. I actually think it could be an advantage for the Lions because with new coaches, there's an unknown factor. And early in the game, you could see some weird plays, some formations that the Buccaneers haven't seen before. Full game, I think it's a disadvantage, but early on, yes, I will close my eyes, take a couple of Advil, and take the Detroit Lions +3 in the first quarter against the Buccaneers.
So, I mean, the Lions, of course, have already fired their head coach, and interim head coach Darrell Bevell won't be on the sidelines for this game because he's dealing with COVID symptoms. So it's the interns to the interns who are going to be game planning for the Lions, which is a really interesting scenario, Andrew, when you talk about the fact that maybe the opposing defense won't know what's happening. But my question to you is this. All right. It's a Bucs team that, as you mentioned, slow start, the last 4 games, and awful starts in the first 2 games out of the bye. Now, the quotes out of Tampa this week are, "We can't let that happen again." Do we expect, do we expect, even though they're saying we can't let that happen again, is this just the MO of the Bucs right now? Or is the Tampa capable of coming out and playing a first half like they did the second half last week?
As you know, quotes don't equate to the field. So you can say whatever you want. Like, I mean, I'd love to get $1 million for Christmas. Ain't going to happen. So you can say whatever you want. I'm sure they don't want to get off to a slow start, but they are getting off to a slow start. So I don't know how you have the same personnel, the same coaching, the same quarterback. I don't know what they're going to change to be like, you know what? This is the week we're going to score 2 touchdowns. This is enough's enough. This is the week. Now we're going to do it. We've just been screwing around for the last. This is the one. So quotes, I think you have to take with a grain of salt.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you. And there's got to be a reason because it's really week in, week out. Andy, speaking of week in, week out, you don't have this prop on your card right now, and I want to ask you about it anyway. The Jets in the first quarter, man, to score a point. It's 8 in a row now. I think it's 11-4 on the season, give or take. Are you done with it, or is it just too much juice?
No, it's everybody knows it. Everybody knows that play. Anybody that follows Prop It Up knows that we're playing this. Anybody that follows me and Matt Joseph and Andrew McGinnis on Twitter knows we're playing it. It's just it's just a known thing. Jets first quarter. It is if we're giving out awards, the prop of the year in the NFL is the Jets first quarter bet. So I probably should just put it on my.
Kelsey's reception yards are right there, bro.
That's a good one. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kelsey.
I've been betting that all year.
Yeah, that actually probably should be a show, the Prop of the Year award, the propsies.
Well, you should have them in your show, genius. But yeah, and I've been betting Mahomes over in touchdowns as well. Last week, 2.5 plus money. You got a prop in the NBA for us. Fill us in.
Yeah, learned a lot the last couple nights. If we have time after this, I'd love to bounce some ideas off of Teddy for some of these props. I'm going to play the Milwaukee Bucks -5 first half against Golden State. Golden State just completely overwhelmed against the Nets the other night. Could have been way worse. Durant only played 25 minutes, scored 22 points. He scored 10 in the first 5 minutes. Kyrie played 25 minutes, only scored 26 points. And the Bucks, an incredible stat game with the Celtics last night. So if we look at the Bucks, the same positions had big games against the Celtics that were the same positions that really tore up the Warriors. And the Warriors, it looks like Draymond's going to be out for at least 3 games. So that is the interior of their defense. Giannis with 34 points at power forward, Drew Holiday with 25 points at guard, Middleton added 27 points. So again, this looks like a big, massive defensive mismatch for the Warriors. Nobody in the league can really guard Giannis, but the Warriors have nobody to guard Giannis. They let DeAndre Jordan have 11 rebounds. I think this is going to be another long game for Golden State. I'm going to stick to the first half, though. I want starters versus starters in most of the first quarter, bench versus bench in the last part of the first quarter and the start of the second quarter, and then starters versus starters. When you get to the second half, if the game gets a little out of control, you never know who's going to be playing in the fourth quarter. I want to avoid that backdoor cover and take the Bucks in the first half over Golden State.
Are you worried at all about Milwaukee's bench? Because watching them last night, it was very clear to me that bench is nowhere near where it was a season ago, which means they're probably going to get more minutes from their starters over the course of the season, which might be good for their point spread results. But in early season play, I am concerned. It's an issue. Are you worried about that at all in terms of first half play versus the full game play?
No, I actually, and you're right. The bench is not exactly all-star, but neither is Golden State's. So I want to avoid getting all of the bench minutes. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets played their entire bench the fourth quarter. So that's why I want the first half, because that's when you're going to get the most of the starters' minutes. So, if this game goes completely lopsided, which all the writing is on the wall for this, I want to get the most out of my starters' minutes. And I don't see a way that they can stop Middleton, Holiday, and Giannis. And then when the bench comes in, as long as you can break even on bench versus bench, I think that it's just such a mismatch for the guards and the forwards for the Bucks. So that's why I'm sticking to first half.
Andy Lang, awesome stuff. And Teddy, I don't know if you know this. You don't, because you don't sit in the chat room. Andy Lang, he was literally speaking to people in the chat room while drinking his scotch at 12:30 in the morning and talking on air. Your multitasking is exceptional. Andy, thanks so much for joining us. You're on every single Friday. We love having you. Anything really quickly to promote?
Yeah. So we're moving pretty slow on NBA props. I want to take in a lot of information in the last couple nights. So only have had 3 props so far, learning a lot. I would expect NBA props to start firing off pretty heavy next week. So I will start having some promo codes for week-long packages,
Nice.
Also maybe some year-long packages. And then January 7th, golf season starts up, ready to rock and roll. Hit well over 60% on head-to-head matchups. So already started researching that. So look next week for some really heavy NBA props and NFL props. And then January 7th, we're off and running.
Awesome stuff. Andy, have an incredible holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
You too, guys. Thanks so much, guys, for having me on.
We'll see you next week, and always a pleasure. Be well, my friend. Quick break, everybody. Tons more on Wager.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays from all of us at WagerTalk, Sports Memo, and The Gold Sheet. The Gold Sheet is now in its 2nd season under the WagerTalk Media umbrella, and we have a special holiday gift for all. The iconic Gold Sheet set the standard as the first major football newsletter back in 1957 and is now resetting the standard for a basketball newsletter. Join us at goldsheet.com this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for 3 free days of basketball. No special codes needed. Just go to goldsheet.com and experience the new and always improving Gold Sheet basketball newsletter.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. It's a game we've talked about a little bit on the show already, but it deserves its own highlighting. And that, of course, the Bucks and the Warriors. Unfortunately, in the last half hour, this line has mostly moved from -9.5 to -10 for Milwaukee. That said, I can only take the Bucks in this ball game. Look, let's talk about Golden State. And admittedly, they faced a Brooklyn team that was motivated, that was hitting shots, and I think Durant had something to say to his former teammates as well in the opener. But it doesn't get any easier here for Golden State. This is a team that closed out last year dead last in my NBA power ratings. They were below the Knicks, they were below the Cavs. They were, from a power rating standpoint, the worst team in the NBA. You make an argument, maybe they were only 28th instead of 30th. And they say, all right, well, Curry's coming back, or Draymond's coming back, and it's a whole new season, and the Warriors aren't going to be that bad. Well, then Draymond didn't come back. And Curry's one player, And right now you look, all right, who is this team? James Wiseman starting. He's not an impact player as a rookie. Steph Curry, the only real addition to where they were from last year at this time. I mean, Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre is a decent player, but right now he's the second best player on the Golden State Warriors. That's not what you want. The Kevin Looneys of the world. I mean, Brad Wanamaker, a nice pickup at the point. But again, we're not talking about a Warriors team that's going to be competing for anything this year. Golden State right now looks to me to be a pretty strong bet against. And then here's a Milwaukee team that there are track records that matter and track records that really matter. And the track records you don't pay any attention to. The Bucks off a loss the last 2 seasons has been really strong. And the Bucks off the type of loss they suffered last night in Boston, where they didn't play good basketball for extended stretches and then fought tooth and nail down the stretch and then thought they had the game won and then gave it up on a banked in 3 and then Giannis misses the free throw. Those are the type of losses. Again, there are many teams where a loss like that is, yeah, whatever. We'll get them another time. I don't get that sense ever from Milwaukee. When they lose, they're mad. And with the issues for the Bucks bench, all the talk is Giannis, what was he, 30 minutes a game last year? He's supposed to play more than that. 36 they want to play. Middleton's going to play more minutes. Holiday is going to play more minutes. This is a team that's going to build margins. And then you say, what's the track record here for Milwaukee when they face a lesser foe? They kill weak teams. They kill weak teams at home. They kill them on the road. This is what Milwaukee does. Certainly wouldn't talk anyone out of a concept of Bucks first half in this ballgame at the -5. For the free play here, for the big game breakdown, we'll go the full game. Milwaukee -10. It's not a game I expect to be close. Although, frankly, the -5 first half is an attractive wager as well. That way you're not sweating out the end result should both benches be on the floor during what may be garbage time down the stretch. There it is. Big game breakdown for Christmas Day. I like the Bucks to bounce back strong. Back to you, Prez. Yeah, I have no value, buddy.
I'm back. I muted me. I admit it. Anyway, Teddy, awesome stuff. Guys, just want to give out a quick promo also to let everybody know. Thank you for joining us. Hit that like button. Please, please, please take 1 second out of your day to just hit that like button. Helps us so much. I just want to give a shout out to Tony Maia. 64% in the NBA playoffs while he was with us at WagerTalk. 64%. Outstanding stuff. We got a promo for him. $499 for his entire NBA season. And we're throwing in his college football bowls for free. So head over to his page at wagertalk.com, $499 for his entire NBA season. His college football will be thrown in for free. And Teddy, only a couple of days left of the Odd Couple promotion. So that's something I really, really want everybody to take advantage of. It's literally buy one, get one free between me and you. 1 week of our plays, half price, $119 for the 2 of us. So, guys, I'm insisting. Head over to Teddy's page or my page. WagerTalk.com. Take advantage of the Odd Couple promo. We're gonna kill it, man. We're gonna kill it this weekend. I feel it, Teddy. Anyway, let's bring Ralph
no. Just let me jump in.
What? Go ahead.
Well, just one second. You insist that they buy a pack. We don't insist anyone buys a pack. If you're interested, there are packages for sale. If you're not interested, we have tons of free info, live lines. There's all kinds of stuff you can find at WagerTalk at Sports Memo, even if you don't have $1 in your pocket. Okay, so this hard sell, you must buy. Nobody must buy anything. If you want to buy,
okay, you're right, Teddy. Listen, I'm prone to a little bit of hyperbole. I mean, I've been known to hyperbolize, if you will. Have I not?
a little bit.
Yes, just a wee bit. Let's bring Ralph in, and we've got a long Ralph segment today. We got Ralph. Firstly, how are you, man? I tell you, you missed yesterday's show, and we missed you, dude.
I've not been able to get.
Go ahead.
I have not been able to catch up, so I heard Rob got a lot of good ratings, and Rob's awesome. So there'd be no one better to stand in for me. So happy to get it. I'll watch the presidential address this afternoon, get caught up in all the NFL info, and get ready for the weekend.
Well, listen, brother, we're gonna do a quickie right now. We're gonna do a mini presidential address. I'm gonna throw some NFL games at you guys, just a couple. Teddy, stop it. I'll do what I do.
The concept of you saying we're gonna have a quickie right now when you're talking to Ralph is not
Oh,
appealing.
is that what you're talking about? You're talking about my quickie comment. Fair enough.
Yeah,
you're having a good hair day.
I'm talking about
Teddy.
this. This is what I'm talking about, Lawrence.
Okay.
You know, how about we do the angle of the day, the situation play, and the Friends of Ralph. That way we can make sure we have time for what we need to. And then the fill time at the end, we'll do the presidential address quickie.
Love it.
All right.
Yeah,
so I'm just gonna take over, and I'm gonna do that. Is that okay with you, Teddy?
Please.
All right.
Do what you were asked to do for the show, as opposed to something Lawrence just made up on the spot because he thinks have extra time for some reason on a show that we have to be off in 6 minutes. So go, Ralph.
All right.
The floor is yours.
First angle, Teddy, we're going to talk about those big upsets last week. There's a lot of people in Survivor Contest that want to thank the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals. Unless you had those two teams in your Survivor Contest, then you want to MF them. So how do teams do the week after pulling an upset as a dog of 6.5 or more, and they're a dog of 6.5 or more? Does this sound familiar? Yeah, we talked about it with Philadelphia last week. Well, guess what? Philadelphia did not win. Philadelphia did not cover. So let me reiterate those numbers. If you fade a team like the Jets and like the Bengals off an upset win as a dog of 6.5 or more, and they're a dog of 6.5 or more, those teams, if you fade them, 36-11, 67%. Straight up, Teddy, 46-2. So those teams have only pulled back-to-back upsets twice out of 48 times. And I don't think you're a teaser guy, but listen to this, Teddy. If you fade the Jets and the Bengals this week in a teaser situation, previously, since 2010, you have gone 45-3, fading them in a teaser roll off that upset win.
And that's just a 6-point teaser, right, Ralph? We're not even talking about a 10-point teaser.
No, that is a legit 6-point teaser minus $120. Correct.
Sure. And the concept here makes sense to me. You have a team that's coming off a huge upset, and now they're big dogs, which means they're stepping up in class a second time. And once you get that first win, the tendency tends to be to exhale a little bit. Yeah, this one passes the smell test, even though, frankly, I'm not in love with laying the chalk against either one of these squads. But does it make sense? It does make sense. And we're talking about, 77% since 2010, straight ATS, and 94% since 2010. If you're talking about a 6-point teaser, yeah, this one makes a whole lot of sense to me. Ralph. It means you got to lay some chalk.
And again, I think the Bengals is in a situation more because they played their Super Bowl. They're on a short week. They're traveling on a short week with who knows which quarterback's going to play. But situation play of the day, Teddy. I am so sorry. I am going against your big game breakdown here. So We're gonna have a mini discussion. I did not know what your big game breakdown was. This is a game 2 specific NBA numbers that I ran. So I don't know. We'll see if it passes your test or not. Simply this. It applies to the Warriors against the Bucks and the Pelicans against the Heat. Teams on the road for game 1 and game 2, and your opponent was on the road game 1, now having their home opener game 2. I was amazed, Teddy. Since 1995, that system is 74.1%. Just blindly paying the team on a second straight road game against an NBA team in game number 2 that started on the road, has their home opener game number 2. If you take out the very big dogs of 10.5, those have gone 1-7. So since 1995, if a favorite or a dog up to 10, they've gone 41-14, 74.1%. And then I have 2 subsets. If the road team lost like Golden State did, they've hit 78%. And if a team won and an opponent lost, like New Orleans and Miami, they've gone 5-4. So that doesn't happen. So let's just go to the main subset, Teddy. Does that make you think about it at all?
My question to you is, I understand that when you're data mining, when you look for numbers, you're going to find numbers. When you look for angles and trends, you're going to find them. The question is, are they meaningful moving forward? And this parameter, road team, when both teams were away game 1, that's paid enormous dividends, 74% since 1995. All right, which is significant, certainly a reasonable sample size, and a pretty darn good percentage for blindly playing an angle. But I don't see the why. I don't understand why. And that makes me worry that this is just static, and over the next 55 plays, it's much more likely to go 50-50. And static meaning that, when you look for angles, you'll find them, but are they meaningful in any way? And I call it, static on the screen. I mean, what do you think is behind this, Ralph? Because it doesn't, is it just one of those random things, or is there something meaningful to it?
The only way I would get an answer out of this, Teddy, is I do not do regular power ratings in the NBA. I would say we would have to go back to your opening power ratings the last few years and see if Vegas makes an adjustment for an NBA team starting on the road back-to-back games, or perhaps over-adjusting an NBA team for their season home opener. So that's the only thing I could take out of it, that if that were the case, and there are over-adjustments earlier in the year in the NBA lines, that could cause this to have the percentage it is.
Yeah, Michaels, everybody. Go ahead, Teddy. You're rolling, baby.
No, Lord. I'm glad you're off mute, my friend.
Shut up, Teddy. You have a question for Ralph before we get to the Friends of Ralph segment or not?
Well, no. I want him to ask about the overinflation in the road-to-road lines, Teddy. Or do you think they inflate a home opener or not?
I don't think that off of one game you're going to see over adjustments as to how a team play. In terms of home versus road. I just don't. I don't see the connectivity there. I see the subset that says this is 74%, but I don't see the rationale that says this is going to be 74% moving forward. So even though I'm on the other side of that concept with the big game breakdown and with my opinion for Christmas Day NBA, it's not this angle isn't taking me off it. I don't see the rationale behind.
I love it. When Teddy's confident about a play, he's more confident. And Prez, let's go to you before we go to anything else to fill out the time. You need to give the presidential address since there's, the presidential Friends of Ralph play of the day. There's no show tomorrow. So let's hear it, bud. Take us away and break down the game.
Okay, brother, I'm ready to go. I won last week on the under in the Rams, total fluke, but my friends with Ralph play, a play I'm betting, a play I'm releasing to my clients is the over in Indianapolis and Pittsburgh. And this is really somewhat of a counterintuitive play. I just bet the under in the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game, which I lost. And I've been playing a lot of unders on Pittsburgh all year. This team has really been struggling to get their offense in rhythm. Really, what I see here is just a situation where Pittsburgh's going to have nothing but they have to keep up. Their defense is just riddled with injuries in almost every major position. Indianapolis's offense has been ticking all year, Ralph, especially the last 4 or 5 games. Their offense is unbelievably well balanced. They've one of the best offensive lines in the league, and I think they actually will be able to keep Pittsburgh's defensive strength, that edge rush. I think they'll be able to keep them at bay, at least enough of that play action pass from Phillip Rivers to work. I think Indianapolis is going to put up points, and I think Pittsburgh has no choice but to keep up with them. I'd love to see Pittsburgh's running game ticking to set up that play action. But, betting is a funny thing. We just watched Big Ben have maybe the worst game of his entire career, and I expect a big bounce back game from him. I expect him to find his receivers, one of the best receiving cores in football. This number seems very low to me at 44.5. My friends with Ralph play is over the total.
Appreciate that, Prez.
Would you like
When
to
you're done
add
doing your
any
thing, Prez, you got to throw to somebody.
Yeah,
you got to
okay.
throw
I'll
to somebody.
Throw to somebody. Yeah, okay. How about we're going to have a quick commercial break, and then I'm going to throw to Joe Ranieri, and we're going to talk about the NFL. Okay, well, Joe, I want to bring you on. Joe, get your ass on. Okay. Okay, boys. Let's guys, we're having a little bit of a mess today. Sorry about that. Anyway, guys, literally 10 seconds. Ralph, I missed you on the NFL presidential address. Let's throw a couple of games at both of you and then call it a show. Minnesota, New Orleans. Ralph, you have anything?
Under.
Teddy?
Pass.
Miami, Las Vegas. Ralph?
Miami.
Teddy, I don't need to throw to you here. You could just
Service play?
freaking talk. What? Oh, you don't want to
Service
even...
play? I mean,
Service
it's
play,
time
okay.
to go. We were supposed to be off 4 minutes ago. You're throwing
Okay,
out
take
games
us home, dude.
for no reason. I don't understand. I understand when you're done, you go, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the games. Good luck. We'll see y'all next week.
Oh, I'm
And
sick
instead
of
you're
you.
like, throwing games no one's prepped for, that we got sales, that we're up for sale, dude. It's insanity.
Okay,
Merry
Teddy, can you
Christmas.
please-
Thank you so much to Andy Lang for joining us on the show today. We hope you have a beautiful Christmas Eve and a profitable Christmas Day. Anything else you want to say, Lawrence, before we let our
Yes.
Happy
our
holidays,
audience
everybody.
go?
Appreciate it.
Ralph, go ahead.
Happy holidays. Everyone have a very safe and happy holiday season. This year's almost you guys on Monday.
Guys, I just want to let you know I was prepared to give you all more NFL talk. Teddy, the dour, sour man that he is, ruined it. That's on him. But I do want to wish you guys all an incredible holiday. Merry Christmas. I talked to you all in the chat room. I love it. You're part of my extended Wager Talk family. Thank you for being here. We'll see you all on Monday. Teddy, just say goodbye.
Wager Talk Today hosts Teddy Covers and the Prez are the perfect odd couple. And since you can't have one without the other, we decided to turn it into a promotion. So if you buy a 7-day all-access pass from one, you will get a 7-day all-access pass from the other one for free. This is a limited time promotion, and due to the deep discount, no wager bucks or coupons can be applied.